Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got some jaw-dropping news that has Pawn Stars fans absolutely stunned. Rick Harrison, the well-known star of the hit reality show, has been sentenced to life in prison. That's right, you heard correctly. The man famous for his business savvy and deep knowledge of antiques is now caught in a shocking and unforeseen legal battle. But how did this all unfold? How did a man who turned a pawn shop into an empire find himself in such a tragic situation? If you're as shocked by this news as we are, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our latest updates. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts on this incredible story. Richard Harrison, better known as Rick Harrison, is an American entrepreneur and TV personality born on March 26, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. Rick's journey to fame on Pawn Stars wasn't an easy one. At just 2 years old, his family relocated to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. But his early years were marked by challenges. Diagnosed with epilepsy at age 8, Rick missed a lot of school, which led him to spend more time reading and self-educating. This period of self-learning allowed him to gain an extensive knowledge of history, which would later become an invaluable asset in his career. Although he dropped out of school in 10th grade due to his illness, Rick didn't let this setback define him. Instead, he used it as fuel to teach himself, especially in business and history. As a teenager, Rick began working alongside his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, better known as the Old Man, on various business projects. This hands-on experience taught him how to assess the value and authenticity of items, a skill that would later become central to his career. At 17, Rick's girlfriend, Kim, became pregnant, and the couple decided to marry. They had 2 sons, Cory and Adam. But after 8 years, they divorced in 1981. Rick and his family then moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father opened the Gold and Silver Coin Shop. By 1989, the shop was rebranded as Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, the iconic pawn shop that would become the backdrop for Pawn Stars. The early years were tough, with Rick and his father facing everything from tough customers to risky situations. Despite these challenges, Rick's deep knowledge of collectibles and historical artifacts helped him earn a strong reputation in Las Vegas. If you think this story is as shocking as we do, share this video with your friends and spread the word. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest videos. Together, we'll follow the latest developments in this case and what's next for Pawn Stars. Recognizing the entertainment potential in the pawn industry, Rick began to envision a reality TV show that would showcase the daily operations of the shop. Despite initial rejection, Rick didn't back down. After years of persistence, he finally secured a deal with the History Channel in 2009. And that's when Pawn Stars officially hit the air. The show gave viewers an inside look into the fascinating world of pawning, featuring intriguing deals, rare antiques, and captivating historical tales. Starring Rick, his son Cory Big Hoss Harrison, his father Old Man Harrison, and his close friend Austin Chumley Russell, the team evaluated, bought, sold, and exchanged valuable items, often with high-stakes negotiations. Pawn Stars became an instant success, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a well-known TV personality. His no-nonsense speaking style, expert negotiating skills, and deep knowledge of history quickly made him a fan favorite. Rick's iconic catchphrase, "The best I can do is," became a hallmark moment whenever he presented his final offer for an item. Pawn Stars wasn't just entertaining. It also provided valuable educational content, with each episode offering fascinating historical insights into the items brought into the shop. This blend of entertainment and education helped the show attract a diverse audience from kids to adults, making it one of the standout programs on the History Channel. Under Rick's leadership, the pawn shop quickly transformed into a major tourist destination, drawing visitors from across the globe. Fans flocked to see the big deals up close and even had the chance to appear in an episode. As revenue from the shop soared, Rick expanded into other business ventures, including selling souvenirs, books, and opening restaurants. His fame stretched far beyond Pawn Stars, with appearances on various television programs, interviews with renowned magazines, and a growing demand for him as a speaker at business events. His entrepreneurial journey and business insights have inspired countless people. As the driving force behind the success of Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison became renowned not just for his business savvy, but also for his decisive and pragmatic leadership. On the show, he often took on the role of the calm, composed figure, guiding his son Cory and managing Chumley's antics. From a young boy who dropped out of school due to epilepsy to a successful entrepreneur and TV icon, Rick Harrison has crafted his own remarkable success story. While Pawn Stars may continue to evolve, it's clear that Rick remains the heart and soul that propelled the show to its current prominence. The relationship between Rick Harrison and his father, Richard "Old Man" Harrison, went beyond the typical father-son dynamic. It was built over years of working side by side. Together, they not only established the gold and silver pawn shop, but also shared a business philosophy grounded in honesty and intelligence. When Old Man passed away in 2018, Rick carried on running the business with the same values his father had instilled in him, honoring the family legacy. Despite his success with Pawn Stars, Rick's personal life has had its share of ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and the two spent 27 years together before divorcing in 2011. 2 years later, Rick remarried Deanna Burdett in a special ceremony officiated by Danny Coker, star of Counting Cars, with Chumley serving as the ring bearer. Though Rick tends to keep his family life private, the rare moments when he opens up about his wife and children on the show reveal that he is a devoted family man, always striving to balance fame, work, and personal life. Not content with just Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison expanded his business empire by opening Rick's Rollin' Smoke BBQ and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, located right next to the gold and silver pawn shop. In 2011, he co-authored the book License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, where he shared behind-the-scenes stories of his life and career as a sharp entrepreneur. Always seeking new opportunities, Rick continues to grow his brand and expand his business ventures. Rick's skill in appraising items has been showcased through thousands of transactions on Pawn Stars, dealing with everything from historical documents and classic cars to rare artifacts. Despite his vast knowledge, Rick isn't afraid to consult experts when faced with items outside his expertise, reflecting both caution and business savvy. One of his standout purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl championship ring, which he bought for $2,600 and later had valued much higher. Another notable deal involved a collection of Spanish gold coins recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, highlighting Rick's deep passion for history and valuable artifacts. Despite his immense success, Rick's life has not always been without turbulence. In 2023, he unexpectedly found himself at the center of a federal investigation, shocking fans and those closest to him. FBI agents, IRS investigators, and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection executed a massive search at both Rick's home and the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. Witnesses at the scene described a chaotic situation straight out of a movie, with employees and customers detained as agents seized computers, documents, and several artifacts from the store. Rick's son, Cory Harrison, was at the scene and later revealed that the whole event unfolded so quickly it felt almost unreal. Video footage showing Rick being escorted out of his home by Secret Service agents quickly went viral on social media, igniting a flurry of speculation as more details about the incident emerged. Authorities are investigating allegations of a complex tax evasion scheme, money laundering, and the sale of potentially illicit artifacts. These accusations arise from suspicious transactions flagged by financial institutions, along with complaints from several former business partners. Despite the intense public scrutiny, Rick has remained calm and composed, continuing to run his business while awaiting clarity from the investigation. Amid the challenges, there's no denying that Rick Harrison is one of the most influential figures in reality TV. From a bookish young boy to a successful entrepreneur and an icon of Pawn Stars, Rick's journey is a true testament to perseverance, talent, and the ability to adapt to any obstacle. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel temporarily halted production of Pawn Stars, issuing a brief statement that they were monitoring the situation and would make a decision once more information became available. Meanwhile, the gold and silver pawn shop remained open, though the number of visitors dropped significantly due to the legal issues surrounding Rick Harrison. Rick's representatives swiftly denied any wrongdoing, asserting that the investigation was a misunderstanding that would soon be resolved. Rick's attorney, David Marshall, a well-known lawyer in Las Vegas with a history of representing high-profile clients, reassured the public that Rick had always operated his business transparently and in full compliance with the law. As the investigation unfolded, a series of alarming details began to surface. Authorities claimed they had evidence showing that Rick had been part of a sophisticated scheme to deliberately undervalue certain historical artifacts to reduce taxes, while secretly selling them at their true market value in private deals. Investigators also accused Rick of purchasing stolen artifacts through intermediaries, including valuable historical documents and items from museums and private collections. Court records later revealed that the investigation was triggered when a former employee of Rick's came forward. This individual claimed to have been directly involved in acquiring several valuable items and provided key information about a separate accounting system used to record sensitive transactions that Rick had intended to keep hidden from the official books. Rick was arrested soon after, but was released on bail just a day later and quickly found himself facing court. He was charged with several serious offenses, including tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking stolen property, and conspiracy to illegally buy and sell historical artifacts. While attorney David Marshall maintained his client's innocence, the pressure from the prosecution only grew. The trial stretched on for nearly a year, with a series of evidence presented. Initially, Rick strongly denied all allegations, but as former colleagues began testifying against him, his situation grew more dire. Prosecutors introduced a range of financial documents, encrypted messages, and testimonies from former employees who claimed Rick had instructed them to alter records to hide large transactions. One of the most shocking pieces of evidence presented during the trial was a series of messages between Rick and an undisclosed supplier, in which Rick was accused of discussing how to erase the provenance of an 18th-century document believed to have been stolen from a university archive. In another exchange, Rick was allegedly planning to arrange transactions designed to avoid reporting requirements for large cash payments. Despite the mounting pressure from the trial, Rick maintained his stance during appearances on several television programs, especially those with a conservative lean. He claimed he was the victim of a targeted campaign to ruin his reputation and the success of Pawn Stars. Many of Rick's supporters rallied behind him, creating hashtags like #FreeRick and organizing protests outside the courthouse to voice their dissatisfaction with how the case was being handled. For a segment of the public, Rick's downfall was a stunning shock, as the image of the sharp, straightforward businessman on television was now marred by legal troubles. The final verdict caught many, including legal experts, off guard. When the judge delivered the sentence, the courtroom fell into a heavy silence. Rick, who had remained composed throughout the trial, turned pale upon hearing the verdict. His son, Cory, sat behind him with his head in his hands, while Chumley, Rick's longtime friend, quickly left the courtroom in tears. Some experts felt the sentence was too severe considering the charges Rick faced, but the judge stressed that the punishment was not only for the financial crimes, but also served as a penalty for the irreparable damage done to cultural and historical heritage. Despite the controversy surrounding the case, many loyal fans still feel that Rick deserves sympathy. They've created support groups on social media, highlighting that, no matter the outcome, Pawn Stars has made a lasting impact by helping viewers connect with history in a more dynamic way than ever before. "Rick taught me to love history in a way that school never could," one fan shared. "Now we'll show him that we haven't forgotten the good he's brought to us." Mr. Harrison, you have presented yourself to the American public as a protector of history, someone who values artifacts and cherishes our shared heritage, the judge said during the sentencing. In reality, you have been involved in an illegal network, contributing to a systematic looting and destruction of priceless cultural heritage for personal gain. The court cannot overlook the severity of these actions. These powerful words echoed throughout the courtroom, signaling the official end of Rick Harrison's career as a familiar face on Pawn Stars. Right after the verdict was delivered, Rick's legal team filed an appeal, arguing that the sentence was excessively harsh and violated his civil rights, given the non-violent nature of the crime. They also requested that Rick be released on bail while awaiting the appeal, but this request was denied. The image of Rick being escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs quickly dominated news outlets and social media. Public reaction quickly became divided. Many of Rick's loyal fans voiced skepticism, suggesting that something was off about the case, and that Rick had become a scapegoat for a larger issue in the artifact trade. Meanwhile, historians and cultural heritage experts supported the harsh sentence, viewing it as a necessary step to combat the illegal trade of historical artifacts. In response, Rick's fan community launched the Hearts for Harrison campaign, which gathered over 100,000 signatures calling for a review of the verdict. "We don't deny that Rick may have made mistakes, but this sentence is not justice, it's vengeance," said Melissa Jenkins, the campaign organizer. "A life sentence for a non-violent crime is unjust. We urge everyone to sign the petition or donate to Rick's legal fund. Every prayer, every supportive message, every small contribution could help give him a fair chance in his appeal." Rick's son, Cory Harrison, also shared his thoughts. "My dad may have made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a chance to make things right." Meanwhile, the History Channel acted swiftly, severing all ties with Rick, officially canceling Pawn Stars and removing all reruns from its schedule. In a statement, the network expressed deep disappointment in Rick's actions while reaffirming its unwavering commitment to preserving and respecting cultural heritage. Before his legal troubles, Rick Harrison was not only a well-known figure in the reality TV world, but also a savvy businessman who built a vast empire that extended far beyond the gold and silver pawn shop. While customer traffic dropped following the scandal, the shop remained a popular destination in Las Vegas. To rebuild public trust, Cory focused on repositioning the store by prioritizing transparency in all transactions and collaborating with museums and educational organizations to promote ethical collecting. In an emotional interview 6 months after Rick's conviction, Cory spoke about the challenges of maintaining the family business while addressing the issues raised in the trial. "We've implemented strict verification processes for every transaction. What happened was a mistake, and we're committed to being part of the solution, not the problem," he affirmed. Austin Chumley Russell, who viewed Rick as a father figure and mentor, also shared his conflicted feelings. "I've learned a lot from Rick, the solid business principles that I'll carry with me for life," Chumley said in a podcast interview. "But I also have to accept that there was a side to him that I didn't see, or maybe I didn't want to see." For the Harrison family, the focus now is on supporting Rick through the appeal process while working to restore their reputation and secure the future of the famous pawn shop. Cory taking over the business surprised many, given his impulsive personality on Pawn Stars. However, with his sharp business sense, Cory has proven he has what it takes to guide the family through these challenging times. "The encouragement from fans has been a huge source of strength for my dad," he shared in a recent press statement. Cory revealed that he reads every letter he receives and draws strength from the fact that many people still believe in the Harrison family during this difficult period. The family has been holding weekly prayer gatherings on Sundays in front of the pawn shop, where loyal fans come together to show their support for Rick. For those who can't make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages them to send letters, cards, or even memorabilia from Pawn Stars to bring joy to past viewers. "Small gestures like that mean a lot to someone going through the darkest time of their life," Cory shared. Despite the challenges, Cory remains optimistic about the future of the gold and silver pawn shop. "My dad taught me everything about this business. The good values he instilled are the foundation I'm building on. We've made some big mistakes, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to make sure it lasts for at least another 30 years. Rick Harrison's journey is truly remarkable, evolving from a small-time asset broker to a successful businessman, reality TV star, and now a life-sentenced prisoner. This dramatic turn of events highlights how quickly fortunes can change, particularly under the intense glare of fame. Cultural commentators have compared Rick's downfall to a Shakespearean tragedy, where someone with a deep understanding of history ultimately turned the very artifacts he once valued into tools of his own destruction. Rick's story now stands as a cautionary tale about the temptations of success and the thin line between smart business strategies and criminal behavior. This sudden turn of events has not only shocked the reality TV world, but also left his family business in a precarious position without the charismatic leader it once had. During this challenging time, Rick Harrison needs all the support he can get. If you're a fan of Pawn Stars and appreciate what Rick has contributed over the years, consider sending words of encouragement, positive thoughts, or prayers his way. The Harrison family has set up a special website where fans can send messages, which will be forwarded to Rick in prison. According to the family, hearing these messages from supporters provides him with a great source of strength during this difficult time. The website also includes an address for receiving supportive letters, hoping that each letter will bring a little light to Rick during this challenging period. As a statement from the family emphasizes, Rick has always cherished the audience of Pawn Stars and knows that your continued support means more than ever. Rick Harrison's journey continues to take unprecedented turns in the reality television industry. We will keep you updated on this shocking case, one that not only affects an individual, but also reshapes the family business and challenges the public's perception of success. The story of Rick Harrison serves as a powerful lesson about the unpredictable changes in life and the temptations that come with success. While his current situation is shocking, it's undeniable that Pawn Stars has made a lasting impact on its fans. We'll have to wait and see if Rick can prove his innocence and make a comeback, or if the legacy of Pawn Stars will continue to grow under the leadership of his son, Cory. Stay tuned as we follow this unfolding story, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below the video. Hello, everyone. Today, we'll explore the surprising story when Rick Harrison, at the age of 59, officially confirmed the life sentence of his son. This shocking news will surely make you think. Let's dive into the truth behind this shocking revelation. Rick Harrison, the famous star of the Pawn Stars show, recently stunned the public when he confirmed the life sentence of his son. This event has shocked not only the Harrison family, but also the fans of the show. Let's explore this surprising story. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news. Feel free to share your thoughts about this event in the comments section below. At the heart of it all is Richard "Old Man" Harrison, a 77-year-old veteran and businessman who co-founded the famous pawn shop in Las Vegas. With decades of experience and a strict demeanor, he quickly became beloved and an undeniable power at the shop. But when he passed away in 2018, everything changed, both for the family and the business. Rick Harrison, his son, was the one who turned the pawn shop into a television phenomenon. Opening a pawn shop is what he's done all his life, and he enjoyed this work. According to Rick, what makes pawn shop work interesting isn't just buying and selling, but the stories behind the items. Whether it's a $1 million antique or a rare collectible, the true value often lies in the story it carries, not just its material worth. Rick built the gold and silver pawn shop from scratch, starting with a basic understanding of gold and silver. In the early days, making a profit was extremely difficult, and there were many times when he lent more money than he earned, but he never gave up. Over time, Rick honed his skills, expanded his knowledge, and built a reputation as a trustworthy expert in the pawn industry. Then, in 2009, everything changed when History Channel aired Pawn Stars, a reality show that took viewers into the fascinating world of the pawn business. The show follows Rick, his father, his son Cory, Big Hoss Harrison, and Cory's friend Austin Chumley Russell as they handle strange and unique items brought to their shop. Some days, customers bring rare comic books. Other days, they claim to own ancient Egyptian artifacts. Every day is full of surprises, which is what made the show so interesting and hard to miss. However, Pawn Stars isn't just about the items, it's also about the people. Goofy and sometimes clumsy personality added humor to the show. As the show grew in popularity, the pawn shop became not just a business, but a landmark. However, behind the scenes, things weren't always smooth. As Pawn Stars gained fame, tensions within the family began to escalate, leading to a messy legal battle. According to USA Today, Rick's mother, Joanne Harrison, filed a lawsuit against him. accusing him of family asset disputes and ownership of the gold and silver pawn shop. What began as a family business turned into a battlefield for control and inheritance. Joanne's legal team filed a civil lawsuit in Nevada State Court against Rick Harrison and several entities related to the pawn shop. The lawsuit also named Harrison's assets, Rick's personal property, and other business interests as defendants. The focus of the lawsuit was a breach of contract claim stemming from Joanne and Richard Harrison's 58-year marriage. The lawsuit alleges that in the early 2000s, when Joanne had to be hospitalized and had just recovered from an AA program, Rick pressured her into signing over 51% of the pawn shop ownership to him. Later, when Joanne realized she might have been coerced, she contested it and claimed she wasn't mentally clear enough to make the decision at the time. The legal battle escalated when Richard passed away in 2018, and Joanne was supposed to inherit the remaining 49% of the pawn shop, but she accused Rick of not providing full financial documentation of the business. According to her, Joanne couldn't access official documents related to over $500,000 in cash and silver Richard had accumulated before his death. As the lawsuit continued, Rick's financial empire faced serious risks. The lawsuit not only sought unspecified damages and a full financial accounting, but also requested the court to order an injunction preventing the use of any funds belonging to Joanne. Furthermore, Joanne requested the court to establish a trust to protect assets she believed were rightfully hers. In response to the allegations, Rick told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that he denied the claims, stating that his mother was being influenced by individuals with ulterior motives. However, the legal troubles were just one of the challenges the family business had to face. According to the Daily Mail, the gold and silver pawn shop, which usually generates annual revenue of over $1 million, suffered severe financial damage in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, earning only $37,000. Despite the financial struggles, Joanne continued the legal battle and went further by filing for an injunction against Rick, aiming to prevent him from selling family assets. She also claimed that Rick had stopped sending money to her from Richard's estate. Initially, Rick had sent Joanne regular payments of $225,000, but in 2020, these payments were halted. It appeared Rick was struggling with depression, as one of the biggest signs of depression is constant anger and hair loss. Some even joked that he might have been going through menopause for a decade. The lengthy lawsuit left Joanne deeply disappointed by the sudden cutoff of financial support, and she took action. She filed for an injunction not only to restore the payments through the court, but also to prevent Rick from moving money, hiding assets, or doing anything that could reduce the financial portion she was entitled to from the family business. However, the story doesn't end there. According to reports, Joanne is 81 years old this year and is facing serious health issues that require around-the-clock medical care, with costs amounting to $115,000 per month. What shocked Rick the most was how he found out about the restraining order. He didn't hear it from Joanne or her lawyer, but from news reports. Stunned, he tried reaching out to her multiple times in the months that followed, hoping to find a fair solution for both sides, but was unable to contact her. Could this communication breakdown make negotiations nearly impossible, trapping them in a legal battle with no way out? Let's delve deeper into this situation. If you want to know more details about what's going on, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Share your thoughts about this story in the comments section. Austin Chumley Russell, one of the famous members of Pawn Stars, has also had his share of scandals. In 2012, TMZ reported that Chumley was involved in a fight with a man in Hollywood. After the altercation, Chumley quickly left, while the other man was seriously injured and left lying on the sidewalk. However, Chumley claimed that he was only acting in self-defense, saying the man had threatened to pull a gun on him and his friends. According to Chumley, he acted on instinct. But Chumley's luck didn't last long, and by 2016, things took a darker turn. According to the Chicago Tribune, Chumley was arrested and faced 20 criminal charges. The incident began when police raided his house in Las Vegas while investigating an assault accusation. Chumley was at court at the time, but his house was searched, and during the investigation, police found drugs, marijuana, and at least one firearm. Although he was not officially charged with any sexual assault-related crimes, the case caused a stir, especially since Chumley was known for his goofy, lighthearted image on Pawn Stars. His real-life troubles painted a completely different picture, leaving fans shocked and his future uncertain. According to TMZ, Chumley got into serious legal trouble when he became a suspect in an assault case. But that wasn't the worst part. During the investigation, police discovered a surprising drug stash in his home. They seized a large amount of drugs, including marijuana, methamphetamine, and Xanax. To make matters worse, they also found traces of cocaine and 12 firearms, 8 of which were unregistered. Realizing the seriousness of the evidence against him, Chumley had no choice but to plead guilty in a plea deal to avoid a lengthy prison sentence. He pleaded guilty to felony possession of a firearm and misdemeanor drug possession. While he avoided prison time, the crisis left a dark cloud over both his career and personal life. Chumley isn't the only one facing controversy. Rick Harrison's son, Cory Big Hoss Harrison, has also been involved in unwanted headlines. Cory had always been determined to one day take over the family business, but his personal life seemed to continually get in the way. Things started to take a turn for the worse during a motorcycle trip to Jefferson City, when his wild behavior at a bar called Spectators created a shameful scene. In 2021, Cory once again drew attention due to a messy legal dispute. According to TMZ, Cory rented an RV for a short getaway in the California desert in 2020, but things went off track when the RV's owner, William Villano, accused Cory of not returning the vehicle on time and in one piece. Instead of returning the RV as agreed, Villano stated that Cory's assistant called a day later saying they had been in an accident and were arranging to tow the vehicle back. However, it took another 2 days before the RV was returned, and it was in complete disrepair. The damage was far worse than typical dings or scratches. Reports stated the RV's dome had been ripped apart, and the interior was a complete mess, filled with bottles, eggs, and who knows what else. It looked like a total wreck. TMZ reported that the estimated repair costs could be as high as $30,000. Moreover, the owner of the RV claimed he had to cancel 10 rental bookings because the RV was no longer fit for rental. He also accused Harrison of refusing to pay for the damages, forcing him to report the matter to the police. As media attention grew, Cory's representative attempted to downplay the situation, explaining that when Cory rented the RV, its extensions couldn't retract, making it impossible to drive. This was the only official statement made by Cory's representative to TMZ. The representative insisted that Cory had the RV towed back to Las Vegas and let his insurance handle the issue. However, legal troubles were only one of many challenges Cory faced. His personal life had been filled with struggles, including a dangerous battle with his weight. In 2010, health concerns prompted him to undergo gastric sleeve surgery, which helped him lose over 100 pounds. While he successfully lost weight, the stress of fame, running the pawn shop, and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle continued to affect him. One bright spot in Cory's life is his friendship with Chumley, which has remained strong. Inspired by Cory's transformation, Chumley also began his own weight loss journey. However, despite some small successes, other issues continued to arise, leaving us to wonder if more troubles are on the way. Let's continue to explore the scandals surrounding the Pawn Stars experts. Over the years, Pawn Stars has become a phenomenon thanks to its blend of history, unique items, and the interesting personalities of Rick, Cory, and Chumley. However, while these three are the main faces of the show, a large part of the show's appeal comes from the experts who help evaluate the valuable and rare items brought to the shop. These experts have become fan favorites due to their deep knowledge on everything from antique coins to famous autographs. However, not all of them have managed to maintain a flawless reputation. Some have gotten into trouble, causing public trust to be questioned and even harming the show's credibility. One of these experts is Johnny Jimenez Jr., known for his expertise in vintage toys. He became the center of a scandal when he was caught on camera in a physical altercation with his girlfriend outside a restaurant in Las Vegas. Footage obtained by TMZ showed what appeared to be a tense argument, and this scandal quickly damaged his reputation. Jimenez defended himself, claiming he was only trying to help his intoxicated girlfriend move after a night out. But the damage was done, severely impacting his standing as an expert. Another notable mistake came from John Resnikoff, the owner of University Archives, which specializes in buying and authenticating autographs. In 2011, he made a major blunder when he misidentified an autograph on a Godfather script. Resnikoff confidently claimed that the autograph belonged to the legendary Al Pacino, only to later reveal that it actually belonged to the producer Al Ruddy. While some fans dismissed this as a small error, many started to question how many similar mistakes might have been overlooked before. As these controversies increased, Pawn Stars began to change. When the show first started, it was a mix of history and entertainment, with Rick and his team providing a genuine look at rare treasures brought into the store. The surprise of what might show up through the door was a key part of the show's allure. One day it could be a medieval sword, the next an autographed Beatles album. However, as time passed, the show began to lose its authenticity. Reports surfaced that many of the sellers and their items were pre-selected, and the appraisals were often done before filming, which took away the element of surprise that once captivated the audience. Even the lively debates between the team, which had once felt natural and fun, now seemed scripted. Instead of focusing on the fascinating historical finds, the show started to shift towards family dynamics, leaving fans who once tuned in to learn about artifacts and their stories, watching what seemed more like a reality TV family drama. As if the scandals and content changes weren't enough, Pawn Stars also struggled to expand its brand. Rick saw an opportunity to capitalize on the show's fame by opening Pawn Plaza, a retail and restaurant complex near the shop. The idea was that Pawn Stars fans would visit Pawn Plaza and generate revenue for the stores. However, this project failed. Many businesses within Pawn Plaza faced low foot traffic, and store owners later claimed that Rick didn't do enough to promote the location. What was supposed to be a thriving extension of Pawn Stars ended up being a failure, leading to the closure of several businesses and even lawsuits from former tenants. Many businesses in Pawn Plaza have struggled due to low customer traffic, and store owners have expressed disappointment, later claiming that Rick didn't do enough to promote the location. What was supposed to be a prosperous expansion of Pawn Stars turned into a failure, leading to the closure of many businesses and even lawsuits from former tenants. Pawn Stars is not just a reality show. It also marked a turning point in television history. What started as a small pawn shop in Las Vegas has become a global phenomenon, attracting millions of viewers. The show introduced people to the world of antiques, rare collectibles, and historical artifacts, turning everyday negotiations into compelling stories. The appeal of Pawn Stars lies in its simplicity, a team of ordinary but interesting characters handling extraordinary items, each with its own unique story. The show is not only about buying and selling, but also about exploring history, learning the art of negotiation, and witnessing surprising moments through the shop. However, fame comes at a price. As Pawn Stars became more popular, controversies began to emerge. Legal troubles behind the scenes, conflicts, and questions about the authenticity of the appraisals gradually overshadowed its initial reputation. The very show that had educated and entertained millions of people has now become a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of fame and the pressure to maintain a perfect image. Despite its struggles, Pawn Stars remains one of the most influential reality shows in television history. The guy who owns the pawn shop in Vegas has become a true star, someone everyone knows. Do you remember when that changed? The show has provided an in-depth look at the challenges of running a family business in the ever-changing landscape of Las Vegas. It's not just a pawn shop, it has become a symbol of American entrepreneurship, resilience, and the never-ending allure of uncovering hidden treasures. While its future may be uncertain, the impact of Pawn Stars on popular culture is undeniable, and its legacy will continue to spark curiosity for years to come. That's all for the latest news about Rick Harrison and the changes in his family's life. Although it came as a shock to many, it's also part of the long and challenging journey everyone must go through. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to leave your comments and keep following the channel for more interesting updates. See you in the next video. Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Today we bring you some shocking news that has left Pawn Stars fans in disbelief. Rick Harrison, the familiar star of the popular reality TV show, has been sentenced to life in prison. Yes, you heard that right. The man known for his sharp business acumen and vast knowledge of antiques is now facing a dramatic and unexpected legal battle. But how did all of this happen? How did a man who built an empire from a pawn shop end up in this tragic situation? If you're shocked by these developments, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our latest updates. You can also leave a comment below this video to share your thoughts on this story. Richard Harrison, also known as Rick Harrison, is an American entrepreneur and television personality, born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. Rick's life has been full of ups and downs before he became a familiar face on Pawn Stars. When he was just 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. However, Rick's early years were far from easy. At the age of 8, he was diagnosed with epilepsy, which caused him to frequently miss school and spend much of his time reading. It was during these years of self-education that Rick accumulated a vast amount of knowledge about history, a crucial factor that would later become a powerful asset in his career. His battle with illness forced him to drop out of school in 10th grade, but rather than viewing this as a setback, he turned it into motivation to teach himself, particularly in business and history. As a teenager, Rick started working with his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man, on various business ventures. This helped him develop the ability to assess the value and authenticity of items, a skill that would later become the foundation of his career. At 17, Rick's girlfriend Kim became pregnant, leading the couple to decide to get married. They had 2 sons, Cory and Adam, but after 8 years of marriage, they decided to divorce in 1981. Rick's family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father opened the gold and silver coin shop. By 1989, the shop officially became Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, the famous pawn shop that would later serve as the main setting for Pawn Stars. The early years were not easy, as Rick and his father had to work hard, facing numerous challenges from difficult customers to dangerous situations. However, these experiences helped Rick build a solid reputation in Las Vegas, thanks to his extensive knowledge of collectibles and historical artifacts. Share this video with your friends if you think this story is shocking and want everyone to know. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get the latest videos from us. Together, we'll keep track of the latest developments in this case and what's next for Pawn Stars. Recognizing the entertainment potential of the pawn industry, Rick began to think about creating a reality TV show to capture the daily activities of the shop. Although initially rejected, Rick didn't give up. After several years of persistence, he finally signed a contract with the History Channel in 2009, and that's when Pawn Stars officially launched. The show offered viewers an inside look into the world of pawning, featuring intriguing deals, rare antiques, and captivating historical stories. It starred Rick, his son Cory Big Hoss Harrison, his father Old Man Harrison, and his close friend Austin Chumley Russell. Together they evaluated, bought, sold, and exchanged valuable historical items, often engaging in tense negotiations. Pawn Stars was an instant hit upon its debut, catapulting Rick from a local pawn shop owner to a renowned TV personality. His straightforward speaking style, sharp negotiating skills, and vast knowledge quickly made him a fan favorite. Rick's famous catchphrase, "The best I can do is," has become an iconic moment whenever he presents his final offer for an item. Pawn Stars wasn't just a source of entertainment. It also provided educational value, as each episode shared fascinating historical insights about the items brought into the shop. This approach helped the show attract a wide audience, from children to adults, making it one of the standout programs on the History Channel. Under Rick's leadership, his pawn shop quickly became a tourist destination, attracting visitors from all over the world. Fans wanted to witness the big deals firsthand, and even had the opportunity to appear in an episode. Revenue from the shop soared, leading to the growth of other business ventures such as selling souvenirs, books, and even opening restaurants. Rick's fame extended beyond Pawn Stars. He appeared on numerous television programs, was interviewed by famous magazines, and became a sought-after speaker at business events. His insights into business strategy and his entrepreneurial journey have inspired many. As the mastermind behind the success of Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison became famous not only for his business acumen, but also for his decisive and pragmatic leadership style. On the show, he often played the role of the calm, collected figure, restraining the impulsive decisions of his son Cory and the antics of Chumley. From a boy who dropped out of school due to epilepsy to a successful entrepreneur and a television icon, Rick Harrison has created his own success story. And while Pawn Stars may continue to evolve in new directions, there's no denying that Rick is the heart and soul that helped the show reach its current status. The relationship between Rick Harrison and his father, Richard Old Man Harrison, was not just a typical father-son bond, but one forged through many years of working together. They not only built the gold and silver pawn shop together, but also shared a business philosophy rooted in honesty and intelligence. When Old Man passed away in 2018, Rick continued to run the business based on the values his father had instilled in him, honoring the family legacy. Despite achieving great success with Pawn Stars, Rick's personal life has not been without its ups and downs. After ending his first marriage, he married Tracy Harrison, and they spent 27 years together before divorcing in 2011. 2 years later, Rick began a new marriage with Deanna Burdett in a special ceremony officiated by Danny Coker, the star of Counting Cars, with Chumley serving as the ring bearer. While Rick has kept his family life relatively private, the rare moments when he speaks about his wife and children on the show that he is a devoted family man, always trying to balance fame, work, and personal life. Not stopping at Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison expanded his business empire by opening Rick's Rollin' Smoke BBQ and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, right next to the gold and silver pawn shop. In 2011, he co-authored the book License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, where he shared behind-the-scenes stories about his life and career as a savvy entrepreneur. Rick is always on the lookout for new opportunities to grow his brand and expand his business ventures. Rick's ability to appraise items has been proven through thousands of transactions on Pawn Stars, ranging from historical documents and classic cars to rare artifacts. Despite his extensive knowledge, Rick isn't afraid to consult experts when encountering items outside his area of expertise, demonstrating both caution and business savvy. One of Rick's standout purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl championship ring, which he bought for $2,600 and later had valued much higher. Another notable deal was a collection of Spanish gold coins recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, showcasing Rick's passion for history and valuable artifacts. However, despite his overwhelming success, Rick's life has not always been smooth sailing. In 2023, he unexpectedly became the center of a federal investigation, shocking fans and those close to him. FBI agents, IRS investigators, and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection conducted a large-scale search at Rick's home and gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. Witnesses at the shop at the time described a scene straight out of a movie, with employees and customers being detained while agents seized computers, documents, and several artifacts from the store. Rick's son, Cory Harrison, was present at the scene and later shared that everything happened so quickly, it was almost unbelievable. Video footage showing Rick being escorted out of his home by Secret Service agents quickly spread on social media, sparking a wave of speculation as details of the incident began to surface. Authorities are investigating allegations related to a sophisticated tax evasion scheme, money laundering, and the sale of potentially illicit artifacts. These allegations stem from suspicious transactions reported by financial institutions, along with complaints from several former business partners. However, Rick has maintained a calm demeanor amidst the storm of public scrutiny, continuing to run his business while waiting for the investigation to clarify everything. Despite the challenges, there's no denying that Rick Harrison is one of the most influential reality TV figures. From a bookish young boy to a successful entrepreneur and an icon of Pawn Stars, Rick's journey is a testament to perseverance, talent, and the ability to adapt to any challenge. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel temporarily halted production of Pawn Stars, releasing a brief statement saying they were monitoring the situation and would make a decision once more information became available. Meanwhile, Gold and Silver Pawn Shop remained open, but the number of visitors significantly decreased due to the legal troubles surrounding Rick Harrison. Rick's representatives quickly denied any wrongdoing, claiming that the investigation was merely a misunderstanding and would soon be cleared up. Rick's attorney, David Marshall, a prominent lawyer in Las Vegas with extensive experience representing high-profile clients, reassured the public that Rick had always run his business transparently and in full compliance with the law. However, as the investigation continued, a series of troubling details began to emerge. Authorities claimed they had evidence showing that Rick had been involved in a sophisticated system to intentionally undervalue certain historical artifacts in order to reduce taxes while secretly selling them at their true market value in private transactions. Investigators also accused Rick of purchasing stolen artifacts through intermediaries, including valuable historical documents and items belonging to museums and private collections. Court records later revealed that the investigation began after a former employee of Rick decided to come forward. This individual claimed to have been directly involved in acquiring several valuable items and provided information about a separate accounting system used to record sensitive transactions that Rick wanted to keep hidden from the official books. Rick was arrested shortly afterward but was released on bail just a day later and quickly had to face the court. He was charged with several serious offenses, including tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking stolen property, and conspiracy to illegally buy and sell historical artifacts. Although attorney David Marshall continued to assert his client's innocence, the pressure from the prosecution steadily increased. The trial lasted nearly a year, with a series of evidence presented. Initially, Rick vehemently denied all allegations, but as former colleagues began to testify against him, Rick's situation grew increasingly dire. Prosecutors presented a range of financial documents, encrypted messages, and testimonies from former employees who stated that Rick had instructed them to alter records to conceal large transactions. One of the most shocking pieces of evidence was a series of messages between Rick and an undisclosed supplier, in which Rick was accused of discussing how to erase the provenance of an 18th century document believed to have been stolen from a university archive. In another exchange, Rick was allegedly planning to arrange transactions to avoid reporting requirements for large cash payments. Despite the pressure from the trial, Rick maintained his stance when appearing on several television programs, particularly those with a conservative lean. He claimed that he was the victim of a campaign aimed at destroying his reputation and the success of Pawn Stars. Many of Rick's supporters created hashtags like #FreeRick and organized protests outside the courthouse to express their dissatisfaction with how the case was being handled. However, for a segment of the public, Rick's downfall was a huge shock, as the image of a sharp but straightforward businessman on television was now embroiled in legal troubles. The final verdict caught many, including legal experts, by surprise. When the judge read the sentence, the courtroom fell silent. Rick, who had remained calm throughout the trial, turned pale upon hearing the verdict. His son, Cory, sat behind him, head in his hands, while Chumley, Rick's longtime friend, quickly left the courtroom in tears. Some experts believed the sentence was too harsh given the charges Rick faced, but the judge emphasized that the punishment not only reflected the financial crimes, but also served as a penalty for the irreparable damage to cultural and historical heritage that Rick had contributed to. Amid the controversies surrounding the case, many loyal fans still believe that Rick deserves sympathy. They created support groups on social media, emphasizing that no matter what happens, Pawn Stars has made a significant contribution to helping audiences connect with history in a more dynamic way than ever before. Rick taught me to love history in a way that school never could, one fan shared. Now, we will show him that we've never forgotten the good things he brought to us. Mr. Harrison, you have presented yourself to the American public as a protector of history, someone who values artifacts and cherishes our shared heritage, the judge said during the sentencing. In reality, you have been involved in an illegal network, contributing to a systematic looting and destruction of priceless cultural heritage for personal gain. The court cannot overlook the severity of these actions. These strong words resonated through the courtroom, marking the official end of Rick Harrison's illustrious career as a familiar face on Pawn Stars. Immediately after the verdict was announced, Rick's legal team filed an appeal, arguing that the sentence was too harsh and violated his civil rights due to the non-violent nature of the crime. They also requested that Rick be released on bail while awaiting the appeal, but this request was denied. The image of Rick being escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs quickly became a dominant feature on news outlets and social media. Public reaction quickly became divided. Many of Rick's loyal fans expressed skepticism, suggesting that there was something fishy about the case and that Rick had become a scapegoat for a larger issue in the artifact trade. Meanwhile, historians and cultural heritage experts welcomed the harsh sentence, viewing it as a necessary measure to curb the illegal trade of historical artifacts. In response, Rick's fan community launched the Hearts for Harrison campaign, gathering over 100,000 signatures calling for a review of the verdict. We don't deny that Rick may have made mistakes, but this sentence is not justice, it's vengeance, said Melissa Jenkins, the campaign organizer. A life sentence for a non-violent crime is unjust. We urge everyone to sign the petition or donate to Rick's legal fund. Every prayer, every supportive message, every small contribution could help give him a fair chance in his appeal. Rick's son, Cory Harrison, also expressed his feelings. My dad may have made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a chance to make things right. Meanwhile, the History Channel quickly severed all ties with Rick, officially canceling Pawn Stars and removing all reruns from its schedule. In an official statement, the network expressed deep disappointment in Rick's actions, while reaffirming its absolute commitment to preserving and respecting cultural heritage. Before his legal troubles, Rick Harrison was not only a familiar face in the reality TV world, but also a sharp businessman who succeeded in building a vast business empire that extended far beyond the gold and silver pawn shop. Although the initial customer traffic dropped following the scandal, the shop remained a popular destination in Las Vegas. To regain public trust, Cory worked to reposition the store by emphasizing transparency in all transactions and collaborating with museums and educational organizations to promote ethical collecting. In an emotional interview, 6 months after Rick's conviction, Cory opened up about the challenges of maintaining the family business while addressing the issues raised in the trial. We've implemented strict verification processes for every transaction. What happened was a mistake, and we're committed to being part of the solution, not the problem, he affirmed. Austin Chumley Russell, who saw Rick as a father figure and mentor, also expressed mixed emotions. I've learned a lot from Rick, the solid business principles that I'll carry with me for life, Chumley shared in a podcast interview. But I also have to accept that there was a side to him that I didn't see, or maybe I didn't want to see. For the Harrison family, the focus now is on supporting Rick through the appeal process while working to restore their reputation and protect the future of the famous pawn shop. Cory taking over the business surprised many, as he had previously been known for his impulsive personality on Pawn Stars. However, with his business acumen, Cory has proven that he has the ability to steer the family through these challenging times. The encouragement from fans has been a huge source of strength for my dad, he shared in a recent press statement. Cory revealed that he reads every letter he receives and draws strength from the fact that many people still believe in the Harrison family during this difficult period. The family has been holding weekly prayer gatherings on Sundays in front of the pawn shop, where loyal fans gather to show their support for Rick. For those who can't make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages them to send letters, cards, or even memorabilia from Pawn Stars to bring joy to previous viewers. Small gestures like that mean a lot to someone going through the darkest time of their life, Cory shared. Despite the changes, Cory believes that the gold and silver pawn shop can overcome the challenges. My dad taught me everything about this business. The good values he instilled are the foundation I'm building on. We've made some big mistakes, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to make sure it lasts for at least another 30 years. Rick Harrison's journey is truly remarkable, from a small-time asset broker to a successful businessman, reality TV star, and now a life-sentenced prisoner. This dramatic turn of events proves that fortunes can change quickly, especially under the harsh spotlight of fame. Cultural commentators have compared Rick's downfall to a Shakespearean tragedy, where a person with deep knowledge of history ultimately turned the very artifacts he once cherished into tools that destroyed him. Rick's story now serves as a cautionary tale about the temptations of success and the fragile line between smart business strategies and criminal behavior. This sudden turn of events has not only shocked the reality TV world, but also left his family business in a precarious position without the charismatic leader it once had. During this difficult time, Rick Harrison needs all the support he can get. If you're a fan of Pawn Stars and appreciate what Rick has contributed over the years, consider sending words of encouragement, positive thoughts, or prayers for him. The Harrison family has set up a special website where fans can send messages, which will be forwarded to Rick in prison. According to the family, hearing these messages from supporters is a great source of strength for him during this difficult time. Additionally, the website provides an address for receiving supportive letters, hoping that each letter will bring a little light to Rick during this challenging period. As a statement from the family emphasizes, Rick has always cherished the audience of Pawn Stars and knows that your continued support means more than ever. Rick Harrison's journey continues with unprecedented turns in the reality television industry. We will continue to update on this shocking case, one that not only impacts an individual, but also changes the family business and challenges the public's perception of success. The story of Rick Harrison is a powerful lesson about the unexpected changes in life and the temptations of success. While his current outcome is a shock, it's undeniable that Pawn Stars has left a lasting impact on its fans. We will have to wait and see if Rick can come back and prove his innocence, or if Pawn Stars' legacy will continue to grow under the leadership of his son, Cory. Stay tuned as we continue. Rick Harrison, the star of Pawn Stars, has just been sentenced to life in prison in a shocking case. Once known for his successful career, he is now facing serious allegations. Let's dive into the details of this case and explore what led to this dramatic turn in Rick Harrison's life. Rick Harrison, the famous star of the show Pawn Stars, has just been sentenced to life in prison in a shocking case. From being a well-known figure with a successful career, he is now facing serious allegations. Let's dive into the details of this incident and explore what led to this dramatic turn in Rick Harrison's life. Please leave your thoughts on this case in the comments section below the video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to stay updated on the latest shocking stories in the entertainment world. Rick Harrison, born on March 26, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, is known as a sharp businessman and a television personality after his success with Pawn Stars. However, his path to fame wasn't smooth. When Rick was just 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. Life threw him a major challenge when he was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, which caused him to miss a significant amount of school. Instead of backing down, Rick was determined to educate himself, particularly in history, turning his time at home into a self-education training ground. This extensive knowledge of history later proved to be one of his most valuable assets. Rick Harrison, born on March 26, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, became famous as a sharp businessman and television personality after Pawn Stars. However, his road to fame wasn't smooth. When Rick was 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. Life presented a major challenge when he was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, which caused him to miss a lot of school. However, instead of backing down, Rick was determined to teach himself, particularly about history, and turned his time at home into a self-education course. This deep knowledge of history later proved to be one of his most valuable assets. At the age of 17, Rick's life took a significant turn. His girlfriend, Kim, was pregnant, and the young couple decided to get married and have 2 sons, Cory and Adam. Although their marriage lasted for 8 years, they eventually divorced. In 1981, Rick and his family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard, opened a small store called Golden Silver Coin Shop. By 1989, this store had grown into a famous landmark in Las Vegas, Golden Silver Pawn Shop, which would later become the iconic setting for Pawn Stars. The early days of the shop were not easy. Rick and his father faced many shady deals and unpredictable customers. However, through it all, Rick's sharp eye for identifying antiques and his vast knowledge of historical artifacts helped the shop grow significantly. Over time, he built a solid reputation in the Las Vegas pawn community. Recognizing the untapped entertainment potential in the pawn industry, Rick began imagining a reality show that would highlight the unique stories and the daily hustle at the Golden Silver Pawn Shop. Initially, the idea was rejected, but Rick didn't give up. After years of persistence, he signed a deal with the History Channel, and in 2009, Pawn Stars officially premiered on TV. The show revealed the world of pawn shops, combining tense negotiations, rare and unusual items, and fascinating historical stories. The audience was introduced to Rick, his son Cory, his father Old Man Richard Harrison, and the beloved friend Austin Chumley Russell. This team quickly became household names, evaluating everything from swords to unique collectibles. Pawn Stars quickly became a phenomenon, thanks to Rick's calm demeanor, expert negotiation skills, and deep historical knowledge. Rick's famous line, "The best I can do is," became iconic, marking the moment when deals were either sealed or rejected. However, the show was not just entertaining, but also highly educational. Each episode offered a lesson in history, art, and culture, helping Pawn Stars attract a diverse audience, from curious kids to history buffs and casual viewers. Under Rick's leadership, Golden Silver Pawn Shop transformed from a local store into a must-visit tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world, with some even having the chance to appear on the show. With the immense success of the show, Rick expanded into other ventures, including selling memorabilia, best-selling books, and even opening restaurants. His fame extended beyond the pawn shop and television as he became a sought-after media personality, appearing on talk shows, giving interviews with major magazines, and sharing business insights at events. What do you think about this situation? Is it true or a misunderstanding? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you're curious about shocking stories from the entertainment world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos. Rick Harrison's journey from a high school dropout to a TV star and successful entrepreneur continues to inspire people around the world. Rick Harrison is not just the face of Pawn Stars, but also the driving force behind the show's success. He's known not only for his sharp business instincts, but also for his calm leadership on screen. Rick often serves as a mentor to his son Cory in the pawn business and keeps an eye on Chumley's antics. Rick's relationship with his father, Richard "Old Man" Harrison, was not just that of father and son, but also of strategic partners, built over years of hard work and mutual respect. Together, they built Gold and Silver Pawn Shop from the ground up, based on shared values of honesty, intellect, and integrity. When Old Man passed away in 2018, Rick continued to ensure that the business reflected the values his father instilled in each deal and decision. Although the fame and wealth that Pawn Stars brought to Rick are undeniable, his personal life has also seen its share of ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and they lived together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. 2 years later, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a memorable ceremony in Las Vegas, officiated by Counting Cars star Danny Coker, with Chumley happily serving as the ring bearer. While Rick tries to keep his personal life private, the moments he shares on the show reveal that he is a devoted family man. Whether discussing his children or reflecting on his father, Rick always strives to maintain a balance between his fame, business, and family life. Never content to rest on his laurels, Rick Harrison continued to expand his business empire. As his fame grew, he took his business ventures beyond the pawn shop. Rick opened Rick's Rollin' Smoke BBQ and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, just steps away from Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. The restaurant quickly became a favorite stop for both tourists and locals, offering great food and a bit of star power. In 2011, Rick shared his story in print when he co-authored the best-selling book, License to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver. The memoir offered fans an authentic glimpse into the man behind the counter, with vibrant stories, business savvy, and colorful anecdotes from decades of dealing. As a true entrepreneur, Rick continued to expand his brand and explore new business opportunities. Rick's valuation skills, honed through thousands of deals on Pawn Stars, have made him one of the most prominent figures in the world of collecting. From historical documents and classic cars to rare artifacts, Rick has seen and valued it all. However, what sets him apart is his humility and practicality. When an item is outside his area of expertise, he is always willing to call in trusted specialists. This combination of curiosity, caution, and confidence is what has helped both his business and the show continue to thrive. Among the memorable deals Rick has made is the 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he purchased for just $2,600, only to later discover its true value was much higher. Another notable deal involved a Spanish treasure trove, which included gold coins recovered from a 1715 shipwreck. A perfect find that showcased Rick's deep respect for history and rare treasures. With every deal, Rick Harrison proves what fans have known for a long time. He is not only a businessman, but also a storyteller, a history enthusiast, and a master negotiator with a keen eye for recognizing value. Despite his tremendous success, Rick Harrison's journey has not been without its challenges. In 2023, he became the focal point of a shocking federal investigation that left fans and those close to him stunned. In a scene that could have been taken straight out of a Hollywood movie, federal agents from the FBI, IRS, and the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection descended on both Rick's home in Las Vegas and the gold and silver pawn shop. Witnesses described a chaotic and surreal atmosphere as staff and customers were temporarily detained while agents conducted searches, seizing computers, documents, and several high-value artifacts. Rick Harrison's son, Cory Harrison, was present at the store during the raid and later described the moment as unbelievable, happening so quickly and forcefully that no one had time to react. Shortly after, video clips showing Rick being escorted out of his home by Secret Service agents appeared, quickly going viral and sparking a storm of speculation on social media. As details were slowly revealed, authorities stated they were investigating a complex network involving tax evasion, money laundering, and the illegal trade of cultural artifacts. The investigation stemmed from suspicious financial transactions detected by banking institutions, alongside complaints from some former business associates. Despite facing intense scrutiny and growing media attention, Rick remained calm, publicly stable, and focused on running his business as the investigation continued. While the full truth has not yet been disclosed, one thing is certain. Rick Harrison is now facing one of the most dramatic and pivotal chapters in his life. There's no denying that Rick Harrison remains one of the most influential figures in the world of reality television. From a bookish boy who struggled with epilepsy to a self-made businessman and star of one of the most popular cable TV shows, Rick's story has long been a symbol of perseverance, effort, and reinvention. But after the raid in 2023, his legacy suddenly became murky, filled with uncertainty. In the weeks following the federal investigation, the History Channel announced a temporary halt in the production of Pawn Stars, stating that they were closely monitoring the situation and would reconsider once more information became available. Meanwhile, the number of visitors to the gold and silver pawn shop began to decline. The buzz that once attracted tourists from all over the world had now turned into mere whispers about the scandal. Rick's representative quickly denied any wrongdoing, calling the investigation a major misunderstanding that would soon be cleared up. His lawyer, David Marshall, a prominent defense attorney in Las Vegas who had represented many high-profile clients, reassured the public that Rick had always conducted his business transparently and legally. But as the case progressed, a different picture began to emerge. Authorities believed that Rick had orchestrated a complex scheme to devalue historical artifacts for the purpose of tax evasion, while selling them at full market value through off-the-record transactions. Some of the items involved were suspected of being stolen, purchased through intermediaries, and traced back to museums and private collections. Court documents revealed that the investigation was initiated by a whistleblower, a former employee who not only participated in the scheme, but also provided internal documents, transaction records, and access to an accounting system designed to conceal sensitive transactions from the books. Rick was arrested shortly after, but was released on bail the following day. The charges were serious: tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking in stolen property, and conspiring to trade in illegal historical artifacts. As the case went to trial, more evidence began to emerge. Former colleagues testified against him, and the prosecution presented encrypted messages, altered accounting books, and emails that allegedly showed Rick discussing ways to erase the provenance records of artifacts, most notably an 18th-century document suspected to have been stolen from a university archive. In a highly damaging exchange, Rick appeared to have coordinated a series of cash transactions designed to evade federal reporting requirements. Although legal experts debated whether the sentence was too harsh for a non-violent offense, the judge made it clear that this was not just a matter of tax evasion and financial misconduct, but a cultural price. "Mr. Harrison," the judge said sternly, "you have built your public image as a defender of history, someone who values artifacts and our shared heritage. In reality, you have participated in an illegal network, contributing to the looting and destruction of invaluable cultural heritage for personal gain." These words rang out like thunder in the courtroom, and with them, Rick Harrison's legacy, the face of one of America's favorite TV shows, was officially shattered. However, despite the controversy, Rick still has loyal supporters who haven't forgotten the impact he made. Social media groups have formed to defend him, sharing stories of how Pawn Stars sparked their passion for history, antiques, and learning. "Rick taught me to love history in a way that school never could," one fan wrote. "No matter what happens, we will never forget what he brought to us." For those who grew up with Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison is not just a TV personality, but a cultural bridge, connecting ordinary people with extraordinary stories through the items they brought to his shop. Although the final verdict may have ended his television career, the mark Rick left on popular culture and in the hearts of millions of viewers may never fade. This is not just a cautionary tale, but also a story of ambition, influence, and the heavy responsibility that someone who publicly defends history must face. Immediately after the verdict was announced, Rick's legal team wasted no time appealing, arguing that the sentence was too harsh and disproportionate for a non-violent crime, while also violating Rick's civil rights. They pointed out that Rick had no prior convictions, and that some of the artifact transactions were ambiguous, requesting Rick's release pending the appeal. This request was swiftly denied. A moment later, cameras captured a striking image as Rick was escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs. The man once known for his calm negotiations and historical knowledge was now at the center of a media storm. These videos quickly went viral, sparking a storm of reactions across media outlets and social networks. Public opinion quickly became divided. Many of Rick's longtime fans were in disbelief, believing he had become a scapegoat for a larger issue in the global antiquities trade. Forums and comment sections were flooded with messages of support and skepticism. Meanwhile, cultural heritage experts and historians defended the harsh sentence, viewing it as an important decision in the fight against the illegal trade of artifacts. In response to the growing division, Rick's supporters launched the Hearts for Harrison campaign. The campaign quickly gained attention, gathering over 100,000 signatures calling for a reconsideration of the sentence. "We're not saying Rick is innocent in everything," said Melissa Jenkins, the campaign's leader. "But a life sentence for a non-violent crime is not justice, it's revenge. Rick deserves a chance to make things right." The campaign also raised funds for Rick's legal defense and flooded social media with encouraging messages. "Every prayer, every signature, every dollar counts," Jenkins added. "We believe he can still make it right." Cory Harrison, Rick's son, shared his heartfelt emotions for the first time. "My father may have made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a chance to realize what happened and rebuild." Meanwhile, the response from corporations was swift and decisive. The History Channel, the network that once aired Pawn Stars, officially severed all ties with Rick Harrison. Not only was the show canceled, but reruns were immediately pulled from the schedule. The network released a statement expressing deep disappointment over Rick's actions and reaffirmed its commitment to protecting and respecting cultural heritage. Although foot traffic to the gold and silver pawn shop significantly decreased after the scandal, the shop remained open. It continued to be a cultural and historical symbol of Las Vegas, where every ordinary item told an extraordinary story. In an effort to rebuild public trust, Cory Harrison stepped up to lead the business, determined to restore the shop's and the family's image. Cory repositioned the shop based on values of transparency, ethics, and education. He implemented strict verification processes for every transaction and collaborated with museums and academic organizations to promote ethical collecting practices. In an emotional interview 6 months after Rick's conviction, Cory spoke about the difficult battle. "What happened was a mistake. We can't change the past, but we are committed to being part of the solution, not the problem." Austin Chumley Russell, Rick's longtime friend and colleague, also publicly shared his thoughts for the first time on a podcast. Chumley expressed his complex feelings. "I've learned a lot from Rick about strong business principles that I'll carry with me for life, but I also have to admit there was a side of him I had never seen, or maybe I didn't want to see." As Rick's appeal continues in the courts, the Harrison family remains focused on supporting him and restoring the integrity of the business he built. Cory's unexpected rise to leadership has surprised many, particularly those who had once seen him as hot-tempered and unpredictable. However, the way he led through the crisis earned him newfound respect. "The encouragement from fans means a lot to my father," Cory shared in a press statement. "I read every letter, knowing that there are still people who believe in our family, and that gives us the strength to keep going." In a heartfelt new tradition, the Harrison family now holds weekly prayer sessions every Sunday in front of the pawn shop. Loyal fans from all over the country come to participate, pray, share memories, and offer continued support for Rick. For those unable to make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages them to send letters, cards, or even Pawn Stars memorabilia. Simple gifts that remind Rick he is not alone. Although Rick Harrison's future remains uncertain, the story of Pawn Stars continues to endure, not just as a TV show, but as a testament to the rise of a family business and the thin line between legacy and controversy. Currently, the gold and silver pawn shop stands strong, symbolizing both what has passed and what may still lie ahead. Small gestures can go a long way, especially for someone going through the darkest chapter of their life. "The letters from fans mean more than they realize to my father," Cory shared. "This support gives him strength." Despite facing countless challenges, Cory Harrison remains optimistic about the future of the gold and silver pawn shop. "My father taught me everything about this business, and the good values he passed down to me are still the foundation upon which we build. We've made mistakes, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to ensure it will last for another 30. Rick Harrison's journey has traversed one of the most dramatic emotional arcs in reality television history. From a modest asset broker to a successful entrepreneur, a household name, and now a man serving a life sentence. This series of events has been compared by many to a modern Shakespearean tragedy, where a man, deeply immersed in history, used the very artifacts he once revered to orchestrate his own downfall. For some, Rick's story serves as a cautionary tale about fame, wealth, and the fragile line between bold business moves and criminal behavior. It is a reminder that under the spotlight of fame, every decision is magnified, and every misstep carries a weight far beyond the walls of the pawn shop. The repercussions of Rick's downfall continue to ripple through the world of reality television, leaving his family in a fragile state and challenging the public to reconsider success, legacy, and redemption. However, there is still hope. The Harrison family has launched a dedicated website where fans can send encouraging messages to Rick, share memories, or express their support. Letters and emails sent through this platform will be forwarded to Rick in prison, serving as a beacon of light in the darkest chapter of his life. According to the family, these messages act as a lifeline, boosting Rick's spirits and reminding him that he is not entirely forgotten. Rick has always valued his audience, a statement from the family reads. He knows that your support means more now than ever. As this complex and deeply human story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. Pawn Stars has left an indelible mark on popular culture, educating and entertaining millions around the world. Will Rick be able to clear his name and rebuild, or is the future of the brand now solely in Cory's hands? Only time will tell. We will continue to follow this extraordinary case, a story that goes beyond television and touches on family, reputation, failure, and the fragility of legacy. Recognizing the untapped entertainment potential in the pawn industry, Rick began to imagine a reality TV show that would highlight the daily transactions and unique stories behind the pawn counter at the gold and silver pawn shop. Initially, the idea was rejected, but Rick didn't give up. After years of persistence and persuasion, he finally struck a deal with History Channel, and in 2009, Pawn Stars officially debuted on television. The show unveiled the world of pawn, offering a mix of dramatic negotiations, rare and unique items, and the fascinating history behind them. Audiences were introduced to Rick, his son Cory, Big Hoss Harrison, his no-nonsense father Richard Harrison, and Austin Chumley Russell, the fan-favorite friend. The team quickly became household names, appraising everything from ancient swords to one-of-a-kind memorabilia. Pawn Stars was an instant hit. Rick's calm, no-nonsense demeanor, his professional negotiation skills, and deep knowledge of history made him stand out. His famous catchphrase, "The best I can do is," became iconic, marking the moment when deals could either be closed or rejected. So, the story of Rick Harrison, from a television icon to legal turmoil, has come to a dramatic chapter in his life. But is this the end of his career, or just a turning point that opens up new opportunities? Stay tuned for the latest updates. Thank you for watching.